Hi, I'm Macy. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. One click from you means more stories can be shared. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers and make a difference. Let's begin. Mom, are we going to Grandpa's for Thanksgiving this year? My 9-year-old daughter Emma looked up from her homework with hopeful eyes. I paused, the memory of last year's rejection still fresh. I don't know, sweetie. Let me check with Grandpa first. Can we bring my science project to show him? I got an A, she said, eyes bright with pride. We'll see, I replied, not wanting to make promises I couldn't keep. My relationship with my father had always been complicated. After my mother died when I was 15, Dad remarried within a year to Vivian, a woman who made it clear I wasn't part of her vision for her new life. We should call him now, suggested my 7-year-old son Lucas, bouncing into the kitchen. I want to tell him about my soccer tournament. Their enthusiasm broke my heart. Despite years of rejection, they still yearned for their grandfather's approval. I took a deep breath and reached for my phone. Hi, Dad. It's Macy, I said when he answered. Macy, what do you need? His tone was flat, businesslike. The kids were wondering about Thanksgiving this year. We'd love to join you and Vivian. Sorry, we're full, he interrupted. Vivian's daughter Beth is coming with her husband and their kids, plus Vivian's sister's family. No room for you and the kids. We're full. My stomach tightened. Dad, that's what you said last Christmas, and Easter, and Mom's birthday dinner. Well, it's true. The house isn't that big. Your house has 5 bedrooms, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. And you built that addition last year? Look, Macy, we already made our plans. Maybe next time. I glanced at my children's eager faces and made a split-second decision. Actually, Dad, I'm calling to invite you to Thanksgiving at my place this year. I'm hosting... A pause. You're hosting? Who else is coming? Everyone, I said, surprising myself. I'm inviting the whole family. Another pause. We already have plans. The whole family will be at my house, Dad, including your brother Uncle Jim from Seattle, who you haven't seen in years. I just got off the phone with him, and Aunt Carol is flying in from Chicago. Jim's coming? And Carol? His voice changed. My father cared deeply about appearances. The thought of the family gathering without him would sting. Yes, 3 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. We'd love to have you and Vivian join us. After he reluctantly agreed, I hung up and stared at my phone in shock. What had I done? I didn't have plans with Uncle Jim or Aunt Carol. I hadn't spoken to them in years, and my tiny 3-bedroom house could barely fit us, let alone the whole family. Are we really having Thanksgiving here, Mom? Emma asked. Yes, I said, determination rising. Yes, we are. But Mom, Lucas frowned, we don't even have enough chairs. We'll figure it out, I promised. This is important. Emma looked concerned. Is Grandpa mad at us again? Is that why we can't go there? I sat down at the table between them. Grandpa isn't mad at you. He's just complicated. Sometimes grown-ups make choices that hurt other people without realizing it. Like when I didn't invite Jordan to my birthday and he cried? Lucas asked. Sort of like that, yes. But this year we're going to do things differently. We're going to open our home to everyone, even if it's small. Even Vivian? Emma whispered. Even Vivian, I confirmed. That's what family does. That evening, I called my cousin Samantha, who had always been more like a sister. She lived an hour away with her husband Mike. You did what? Sam laughed when I explained my impulsive invitation. I know, I panicked, but I'm tired of the kids being disappointed. Dad and Vivian have excluded us from every holiday for years. Always no room, or we're full, or some other excuse. So, you're going to host the biggest family Thanksgiving ever? In your house? That's the problem. I don't even know who to invite. I haven't talked to Uncle Jim since Mom's funeral. I don't even have his number. Well, you've got me and Mike, Sam said. And I can get Jim's number from my mom. What's your plan here, Macy? I sighed. I don't know. I just want my kids to have family holidays. Real ones. Not just the three of us eating turkey sandwiches and watching movies. And I want Dad to see what he's missing by shutting us out all these years. Count us in, Sam said, and I'll help you contact the others. Aunt Carol would love to come. She's always posting on Facebook about how she misses everyone. Over the next few days, I threw myself into planning. To my surprise, both Uncle Jim and Aunt Carol were enthusiastic about coming. Jim admitted he'd grown distant from my father after disagreements about how Dad had handled things after Mom died. Your mother would be heartbroken to see how he's treated you and those kids, Jim said during our call. I've been meaning to reconnect with you for years, Macy. This is the perfect opportunity. Aunt Carol, my mother's sister, was even more direct. That man has been allowed to play king of the castle for too long. Your mother would be turning in her grave. My brother David was another story. 2 years older than me, he'd always been Dad's favorite. He lived just 30 minutes away, but had fallen into the pattern of attending Dad and Vivian's events and making excuses to miss anything I organized for the kids. I don't know, Mace, he hedged when I called. Dad's place is tradition. Dad's not hosting this year. I am. And everyone's coming. Everyone? Uncle Jim is flying in from Seattle. Aunt Carol from Chicago. Sam and Mike are coming. This is happening, David. Let me check with Melissa, he said, referring to his wife. Fine, but I need to know by Friday. And David? It would mean a lot to Emma and Lucas to have their cousins here. By Friday, not only had David and his family agreed to come, but word had spread. My mother's cousin Janet called to ask if she could join us. Sam's brother Patrick and his wife were coming. Even my childhood friend Leah, who had been like family and whom my father had always treated better than me, asked if she could stop by. Suddenly, I was hosting 20 people for Thanksgiving. My small house would be bursting at the seams, but I was determined to make it work. The weekend before Thanksgiving, Sam came over to help me plan. We pushed furniture against walls, borrowed folding tables and chairs, and transformed my modest home into a space that could, just barely, accommodate everyone. You know Vivian's going to have something to say about all this, Sam warned as we made shopping lists. Let her, I said with new confidence. This isn't about her or even Dad anymore. It's about rebuilding our family. The real family, not just the convenient parts Dad and Vivian select. On Thanksgiving morning, Emma and Lucas woke up early, too excited to sleep. When is everyone coming, Mom? Lucas asked for the 5th time. Not until 3, buddy. We have plenty of time. The doorbell rang at 1:30. I opened it to find Uncle Jim, a tall man with my mother's smile, standing there with a bouquet of flowers. I know I'm early, he said, but I wanted some time with you and the kids before the circus begins. Tears filled my eyes as I hugged him. I'm so glad you're here. By 2:30, the house was filling up. Sam and Mike arrived with extra desserts. Aunt Carol burst through the door with armfuls of gifts for the children. David and his family came exactly at 3, his wife Melissa eyeing my modest decorations with surprised approval. You've done an amazing job, Macy, she whispered. I had no idea you could pull this off. At 3:15, Janet arrived with her famous cranberry sauce. At 3:30, Patrick and his wife joined us. By 4 o'clock, everyone was there except Dad and Vivian. Should we call them? David asked, checking his watch. No, I said. They know what time dinner is. At 4:30, as we were about to give up and start without them, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Dad and Vivian standing stiffly on my porch. Sorry we're late, Dad said without actually apologizing. Traffic. We brought wine, Vivian added, holding out a bottle like it was a peace offering. Thank you. Come in. Everyone's here. I stepped aside, watching their faces as they took in the scene. My small living room and dining area were transformed, filled with family members chatting, laughing, and catching up. Uncle Jim was showing Lucas a magic trick. Aunt Carol was braiding Emma's hair. David and Melissa's kids were playing a board game with Sam and Mike. Jim? Carol? My father seemed genuinely shocked. You really did invite everyone? I said I would, I replied simply. Dinner was a beautiful chaos. We squeezed around borrowed tables, passed dishes hand to hand, and shared stories that connected us across the years we'd spent apart. Uncle Jim raised his glass. To Macy, for bringing us all together again, and to Helen, who would be so proud of the woman her daughter has become. To Mom, I said softly, noting how my father's eyes dropped to his plate at the mention of my mother. Tell us about Aunt Helen, Emma asked. What was she like at Thanksgiving? Uncle Jim smiled. Your grandmother made the best pumpkin pie you've ever tasted. And she had this tradition where we'd all go around the table and say what we were thankful for. Can we do that? Lucas asked eagerly. I think that's a wonderful idea, I said, grateful for the chance to honor my mother's memory. I'll start, Uncle Jim offered. I'm thankful for Macy reminding us all what family truly means. I'm thankful for new beginnings, Aunt Carol said, with a pointed look at my father. When it came to Dad's turn, he cleared his throat. I'm thankful to be here, he said simply, but his eyes met mine across the table. After dinner, as people broke into smaller conversation groups, Dad found me in the kitchen. This is quite a gathering you've organized, he said. It is. Your mother used to do this. Bring everyone together. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. I don't understand why you couldn't just come to our house for the holidays, he said, his tone defensive. Vivian likes things a certain way. Dad, you've been telling us you're full for years. Every holiday, every birthday, there's never room for us at your house. That's not true. We've invited you plenty of times. When? I challenged, keeping my voice low. Name one holiday in the past 5 years when you've had us over. He frowned, clearly searching his memory. You can't, because there aren't any, I continued. After Mom died, you chose a new life with Vivian. That's your right, but you chose to exclude your grandchildren from that life, and that's not okay. I never excluded. No room for you and the kids. We're full, I quoted. That's what you said last week, Dad. And last Christmas. And every holiday before that. From the doorway, Vivian cleared her throat. Robert, we should probably head out soon. It's getting late. Actually, came Uncle Jim's voice as he appeared behind her. We were just about to look at old photos. Carol brought some great ones of Helen I haven't seen in years. Dad hesitated, torn between Vivian's obvious desire to leave and his brother's invitation. You're welcome to stay, I said. There's plenty of room. The pointed echo of his own excuse wasn't lost on him. He glanced at Vivian, then back at me. I think we'll stay a bit longer, he said finally. In the living room, Aunt Carol had indeed brought out photo albums. Everyone gathered around as she showed pictures of my mother as a young woman, then with Dad, then holding baby David and later me. She was so beautiful, Emma said, touching a photo reverently. You look just like her, Uncle Jim told me. I noticed my father watching from the edge of the group, his expression unreadable. Vivian stood apart, scrolling through her phone. Later, as guests began to leave, they all made a point of thanking me and expressing hopes that this would become a new tradition. Same time next year? Uncle Jim asked, hugging me goodbye. Absolutely, I said. My house is always open. When only Dad and Vivian remained, I walked them to the door. Thank you for coming, I said formally. Dad paused. It was good to see everyone. Dad, I said, gathering my courage. I want to be clear about something. My door is always open to you. You're welcome in our lives. But I won't beg for a place at your table anymore. Emma and Lucas deserve better than that. He looked startled. Macy, I'm not looking for apologies or explanations. I'm just letting you know that things have changed. I've changed. Vivian touched his arm. Robert, the car is running. He hesitated. Your mother would have been proud today, he said quietly. She always said you had her spirit. The unexpected compliment caught me off guard. Thank you, I managed. We'll talk soon, he promised. Really talk. After they left, I sat alone in my living room, surrounded by the evidence of our gathering. Empty plates, crumpled napkins, forgotten scarves. Despite the mess, I felt lighter than I had in years. My phone buzzed with a text from Sam. You did it. So proud of you. Then another from Uncle Jim. Booked my flight for Christmas. Saved me a room. And finally, to my surprise, one from David. Melissa says we're hosting Christmas Eve. You and the kids better be there. A week later, Emma came home from school, clutching an invitation. Grandpa's having a Christmas party, and we're invited. I took the card, reading with disbelief. It was an invitation to a holiday open house at Dad and Vivian's. That evening, my phone rang. Macy, it's Dad. Did Emma bring home the invitation? She did. Good. A pause. Vivian and I thought we'd do something different this year. Open house style, plenty of room for everyone to come and go. I heard the emphasis on plenty of room and smiled despite myself. We'll be there, I said. Good, he repeated. And Macy? Thanksgiving was nice. You did a good job. It wasn't an apology, but it was a start. After we hung up, I sat with my children at dinner, watching them chatter excitedly about seeing their cousins again at Christmas. Mom, can we invite Uncle Jim to stay with us when he comes? Lucas asked. Of course we can, I said. There's always room for family here. 3 years later, our holiday traditions have evolved. Sometimes we gather at my house, sometimes at David's, occasionally even at Dad's. Vivian has never completely warmed to me, but she's civil, especially after Dad had a health scare last year and realized what matters. Uncle Jim visits regularly now. Aunt Carol calls weekly. Our family has reconnected in ways I never thought possible, all because I finally stood up and said, enough. I didn't set out for revenge that Thanksgiving Day. I simply wanted to create space for my children to experience family the way I had before my mother died. But in creating that space, I discovered something powerful. Sometimes the best response to exclusion isn't to fight for admission, but to build something better, something more inclusive. My father still has his moments of distance and Vivian her moments of coldness. Old patterns don't disappear overnight, but they no longer have the power to hurt me like they once did. Because now I know the truth. Our table will always have room for everyone, and that makes us the richer family in every way that matters. So I wonder, have you ever had to create your own space when the doors you hoped would open remained closed? What did you build instead, and how did it change you?